First contact. The deafening roar of failing engines filled Commander Sarah Chen's ears as a small scout ship plummeted through the atmosphere of the uncharted planet. Warning lights flashed across her console, bathing the cramped cockpit in an ominous red glow. Sarah's hands flew over the controls, desperately trying to stabilize the craft's descent. "Come on, you piece of junk," she muttered through gritted teeth. "Just hold together a little longer." The ship bucked and shuddered, threatening to tear itself apart. Through the viewscreen, Sarah caught glimpses of an alien landscape rushing up to meet her, vast purple plains dotted with towering crystalline structures that glittered in the light of twin suns. With a bone-jarring impact, the scout ship slammed into the ground, skidding across the purple grass-like vegetation. Sarah was thrown against her restraints, her head whipping forward and then back. As the ship finally ground to a halt, she hung limply in her seat, dazed but alive. For several long moments, Sarah simply breathed, willing her racing heart to slow. She ran a quick mental checklist, flexing her limbs to check for injuries. Miraculously, aside from what would surely be some impressive bruises, she seemed to be intact. "Well," she said to the empty cockpit, her voice shaky but determined, "that could have gone better." Sarah unstrapped herself and stood on unsteady legs. A quick survey of the ship's systems confirmed what she already suspected. The scout craft was beyond repair. She was stranded on this alien world, light years from the nearest human outpost. But Sarah Chen hadn't become the youngest commander in the Earth exploration course by giving up in the face of adversity. She methodically gathered what supplies she could salvage, including emergency rations, a portable water purifier, and her standard-issue pulse rifle. It wasn't much, but it would have to do. Pressing the button to open the airlock, Sarah took a deep breath. The ship's sensors had indicated that the atmosphere was breathable, but there was always a moment of trepidation before that first lungful of alien air. As the airlock hissed open, Sarah stepped out onto the purple plain. The air was thick and sweet, reminiscent of honeysuckle on a summer's day. A warm breeze ruffled her short black hair, carrying with it scents she couldn't begin to identify. Sarah's eyes were drawn to the crystalline structures she had glimpsed during her descent. Up close, they were even more magnificent. Massive formations that seemed to grow naturally from the ground, their faceted surfaces refracting the sunlight into dazzling rainbows. "Beautiful," Sarah breathed, momentarily forgetting her predicament in the face of such alien wonder. Her awe was interrupted by a sound, a high-pitched, trilling call that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. Sarah spun around, pulse rifle raised, her training kicking in as she scanned for potential threats. That's when she saw them. Emerging from behind one of the crystal formations were two figures unlike anything Sarah had ever encountered. They were tall and slender, with iridescent skin that shifted colors like the surface of a soap bubble. 4 arms extended from their torsos, each ending in delicate, multi-fingered hands. But it was their faces that captured Sarah's attention. Large, expressive eyes that seemed to hold galaxies within their depths, set above what appeared to be gills that fluttered gently as they breathed. One of the aliens was clearly larger, its movements graceful and assured. The other was smaller, partially hidden behind the first, peeking out with unmistakable curiosity. Sarah slowly lowered her weapon, recognizing that these beings didn't appear hostile. She raised one hand in what she hoped was a universal gesture of peace. "Hello," she said, her voice calm despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "I come in peace." The larger alien tilted its head, those mesmerizing eyes studying Sarah intently. Then, to her amazement, it spoke, not in words, but in a series of musical tones and clicks that seemed to resonate in the air around them. Sarah's hand went to the translator device clipped to her belt, but it was silent. Whatever language these beings were using, it was beyond the device's capabilities to decipher. The smaller alien, a child, Sarah realized, trilled excitedly, tugging on one of the adult's lower arms and pointing at Sarah. The adult made a soothing sound, gently stroking the child's head with one of its upper hands. Slowly, cautiously, the pair began to approach Sarah. She remained still, forcing herself to breathe evenly, to appear as non-threatening as possible. As they drew closer, Sarah could see more details of their alien physiology, the way their skin seemed to ripple with colors that matched their surroundings, the intricate patterns etched into what appeared to be some sort of ceremonial clothing. When they were just a few feet away, the adult alien extended one of its hands towards Sarah. The gesture was unmistakable, transcending the barriers of language and species. Sarah hesitated for just a moment before reaching out her own hand. As their fingers touched, a jolt of something, not quite electricity, but a sensation Sarah couldn't begin to describe, ran up her arm. Images flashed through her mind, too quick to grasp, leaving her with a dizzying sense of vastness and ancient wisdom. The alien's eyes widened, and Sarah knew it had experienced something similar. For a long moment, they stood there, hand in hand, two beings from different worlds, forming a connection that defied explanation. Then the child, overcome with excitement, darted forward and wrapped all four of its arms around Sarah's legs in an enthusiastic hug. Sarah couldn't help but laugh, the sound apparently universal enough that both aliens joined in with their own melodious trills. As the laughter faded, Sarah looked between the two aliens, a sense of wonder and hope filling her chest. She was stranded on an alien world, yes, but she wasn't alone. Somehow, against all odds, she had found, or been found by, beings who seemed willing to welcome her. The adult alien gestured with its free hands, indicating the crystal structures and then off into the distance. It was clear they were inviting her to come with them. Sarah nodded, smiling. "Lead the way," she said, knowing they wouldn't understand the words, but hoping they would grasp her meaning. As they set off across the purple plain, the child skipping ahead and the adult matching its pace to Sarah's, the commander couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement. This wasn't how she had expected her mission to go, but it was the opportunity of a lifetime. A chance to truly explore an alien world and its inhabitants. Whatever challenges lay ahead, Sarah Chen was ready to face them. She was human, after all, adaptable, resilient, and filled with an unquenchable curiosity about the universe and its wonders. The trio made their way towards the alien settlement, the first step in an adventure that would change not only Sarah's life, but the future of human-alien relations forever, the cosmic classroom. Commander Sarah Chen had always prided herself on being a quick study, but nothing in her years of training could have prepared her for the crash course in alien culture she was about to receive. As she followed her new companions towards their settlement, Sarah's mind raced, cataloging every detail of this extraordinary world. The Crystal City, as Sarah had begun to think of it, loomed before them, a breathtaking fusion of nature and architecture. Massive structures of living crystal pulsed with an inner light, their facets shifting and realigning in response to some unseen stimulus. It was as if the entire city was a single massive organism, breathing and evolving in real time. Adaptive architecture, Sarah murmured, her scientific curiosity overpowering her awe. Incredible. The adult alien, whom Sarah had mentally dubbed Aurora for the way its skin shimmered with ever-changing colors, trilled softly. The sound was accompanied by a gentle pulse of bioluminescence that spread across its body in intricate patterns. Sarah's translator remained stubbornly silent, but she was beginning to suspect that the alien's language involved more than just sound. The child alien, which Sarah had started calling Nova in her head, bounced excitedly around them, its four arms gesticulating wildly as it pointed out various features of the city. Despite the language barrier, Sarah found herself charmed by the youngsters' enthusiasm. As they entered the outskirts of the settlement, Sarah noticed other aliens emerging from the crystal structures. They moved with a fluid grace that seemed almost choreographed, their bodies undulating in ways that defied human anatomy. Some floated effortlessly above the ground, while others seemed to phase partially through solid crystal as if it were no more substantial than mist. Gravitational manipulation, matter facing. Sarah's scientific mind whirled with possibilities. Or is it some form of localized dimensional shifting? Aurora guided them towards a particularly large crystal formation that pulsed with a soft, welcoming light. As they approached, a section of the crystal wall simply dissolved, creating an entrance. Sarah hesitated for just a moment before stepping through, her human instincts screaming that she should have collided with solid matter. Inside, the crystal structure was a marvel of alien engineering. The interior seemed larger than should have been possible, with chambers and corridors branching off in all directions. Soft, ambient light emanated from the walls themselves, and Sarah could feel a subtle vibration beneath her feet, as if the entire building was humming with energy. Nova tugged at Sarah's hand, pulling her towards what appeared to be a central chamber. As they entered, Sarah's jaw dropped. The room was a perfect sphere, its walls covered in swirling holographic displays that showed images of distant planets, star systems, and what Sarah could only assume were mathematical equations of mind-boggling complexity. A cosmic classroom, Sarah breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. Aurora made a gesture, and the displays shifted, coalescing into a three-dimensional representation of what Sarah recognized as the local star system. With graceful movements of its four arms, Aurora began to manipulate the hologram, zooming in on planets, highlighting stellar phenomena, and drawing connections between various celestial bodies. Sarah watched in fascination, her trained eye quickly grasping the basics of the alien astronomical system. It was similar in many ways to human models of the cosmos, but with key differences that hinted at a deeper understanding of spatial dynamics and quantum interactions. As Aurora continued its silent lecture, Sarah noticed something odd. Whenever the alien touched certain points in the holographic display, Sarah felt a corresponding tingle in her mind, as if neurons were firing in response to the information being presented. It was subtle at first, but as the lesson progressed, Sarah found herself understanding concepts that should have been far beyond her comprehension. Neural interface, Sarah realized with a start. They're not just showing me, they're teaching me directly through some kind of telepathic link. The implications were staggering. If humans could learn to harness this technology, it could revolutionize education, scientific research, even interstellar communication. Sarah's heart raced with excitement at the possibilities. Nova, seeming to sense Sarah's growing understanding, chirped happily and joined in the lesson. Its smaller hands danced through the hologram, adding details and expanding on concepts in ways that Sarah somehow intuitively grasped. As the lesson continued, Sarah became aware of a growing crowd of aliens gathering at the entrance to the chamber. They watched with what she interpreted as a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. She couldn't blame them. She was, after all, a completely unknown life form that had quite literally fallen from the sky into their world. One alien, larger than the others and adorned with intricate, glowing patterns that seemed to indicate a position of authority, stepped forward. It studied Sarah intently, its galaxy-like eyes unblinking. Then, to Sarah's shock, it spoke, not in the musical language of the others, but in halting, accented English. "You, human, why here?" Sarah's eyes widened. You can speak my language." The alien's skin rippled with colors that Sarah interpreted as amusement. "Learn, quick, like you." Sarah's mind raced. If they could learn English this quickly, the possibilities for cultural exchange were endless. She straightened, adopting the formal posture she used for first contact protocols. "I am Commander Sarah Chen of the Earth Exploration Corps. My ship crashed on your planet. I come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship." The alien leader considered this for a moment, its skin shifting through a series of complex color patterns. Finally, it nodded. "I, Zixla, leader of Luminar. You, welcome, learn, teach." Sarah felt a weight lift from her shoulders. She was being offered not just sanctuary, but an opportunity to engage in true cultural exchange. It was everything she had ever dreamed of as an explorer. "Thank you," she said, bowing slightly. "I would be honored to learn from you and to share what I know of my own people." Zixla made a gesture, and the holographic display shifted once more, this time showing a representation of Earth. Sarah gasped. The level of detail was far beyond what should have been possible for a civilization that had never made direct contact with humans. You, not first, Zixla said, its tone somber. Others, come. Long ago, left, gifts, left, warnings. Sarah's mind reeled. Other humans have been here. When? How? And what warnings could they have possibly left? As if in response to her unspoken questions, the hologram zoomed in on Earth, focusing on a period of history that Sarah recognized with a chill. It was the height of human conflict, a time of world wars and unimaginable destruction. Humans, dangerous, Zixla said, violent, destructive, but also creative, resilient, potential. Sarah nodded slowly, understanding the complexity of the situation. We have made many mistakes, she admitted, but we have also learned from them. We seek to explore, to understand, to grow beyond our violent past. Zixla's eyes seemed to bore into Sarah's very soul. You prove, show humans, worthy of stars. And with those words, Sarah understood the true nature of her crash landing. This wasn't just a random accident, it was a test. The fate of future human-alien relations might very well rest on her shoulders. Sarah Chen squared her shoulders, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. She was human, after all, adaptable, determined and filled with an unquenchable desire to reach for the stars. I accept your challenge, she said, her voice firm with resolve. I will show you the best of what humanity has to offer. As the assembled aliens trilled in what Sarah hoped was approval, she couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement. This was more than just first contact, it was a chance to reshape the future of interstellar relations. The cosmic classroom had become a proving ground, and Sarah was determined to pass the test with flying colors. The xenomorphic symphony. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the precipice of a crystalline amphitheater, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The vast space before her was filled with thousands of luminarians, their iridescent bodies creating a living, breathing tapestry of color and light. At the center of the amphitheater stood an object that defied description, a massive, ever-shifting construct that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions at once. The harmonic nexus, Zixla explained, its voice a melodious whisper in Sarah's mind. Over the past few weeks, the neural interface technology had advanced to the point where verbal communication was no longer necessary. It is the heart of our civilization, the conduit through which we commune with the cosmic symphony. Sarah nodded, her scientist's mind racing to comprehend the implications. A quantum entanglement hub on a planetary scale, she mused. Incredible. Zixla's skin rippled with approval. You learn quickly, Sarah Chen. But today you must do more than learn. Today you must join the song. A hush fell over the assembled luminarians as Sarah stepped forward. She had spent days preparing for this moment, studying the intricate harmonics of the alien language, practicing the precise modulations of bioluminescence that would allow her to participate in their most sacred ritual. As she approached the harmonic nexus, Sarah felt a familiar tingle at the base of her skull, the neural interface activating, connecting her consciousness to the vast network of alien minds around her. But this time, there was something different, something more. The nexus pulsed, and suddenly Sarah's perception expanded. She could feel the heartbeat of the planet beneath her feet, the dance of electrons in the air around her, the whisper of solar winds caressing the upper atmosphere. It was overwhelming, beautiful, and terrifying all at once. Focus. Zixla's thoughts echoed in her mind. Find your place in the symphony. Sarah closed her eyes, concentrating on the rhythms that surrounded her. Slowly, hesitantly, she began to hum. It was a simple melody, a lullaby her grandmother had sung to her as a child. But as the sound left her lips, it transformed, taking on harmonics and overtones that should have been impossible for human vocal cords to produce. The luminarians around her trilled in surprise and delight. One by one, They began to join in, their voices and bioluminescent pulses weaving around Sarah's melody, enhancing and elevating it. The harmonic nexus thrummed with energy, its multidimensional structure shifting and realigning in response to the growing symphony. As the music swelled, Sarah felt herself being lifted off the ground, her body surrounded by a cocoon of pure energy. Colors she had no names for swirled around her, and she could sense the thoughts and emotions of every being in the amphitheater. Joy, curiosity, hope, and a deep, abiding love for the cosmos itself. All of it flowed through her, overwhelming her human senses. And then, just as Sarah thought she might lose herself in the vast ocean of alien consciousness, she felt something else. A presence, ancient and unimaginably vast, brushed against her mind. In that fleeting contact, Sarah understood. The harmonic nexus wasn't just a tool for planetary communication. It was a gateway to something far greater, a cosmic network that spanned galaxies, connecting sentient species across the universe in a grand chorus of creation. As the realization washed over her, Sarah's voice changed. The simple lullaby transformed into something new, a melody that spoke of Earth's oceans and forests, of human struggles and triumphs, of the unquenchable spirit that drove her species to reach for the stars. It was humanity's song, and through Sarah, it joined the cosmic symphony for the first time. The luminarians' voices rose in response, their own history and culture intertwining with Sarah's melody. The harmonic nexus pulsed with blinding light, and for a moment, Sarah could see beyond the confines of the amphitheater, beyond the planet itself. She glimpsed other worlds, other species, all connected in this vast, beautiful network of shared consciousness. As the song reached its crescendo, Sarah felt a shift in the energy around her. The cocoon of light that surrounded her began to change, reshaping itself in response to the music. She watched in awe as her own body started to transform, her skin taking on the iridescent qualities of the luminarians, extra limbs sprouting from her torso. For a terrifying moment, Sarah thought she was losing herself, being absorbed into the alien collective. But then she felt it. The core of her being, her essential humanity, remained intact. This wasn't assimilation, it was evolution. As the final notes of the symphony faded, Sarah floated gently back to the ground. The amphitheater erupted in a chorus of trills and flashing colors, the luminarian equivalent of thunderous applause. Zixla approached, its eyes shimmering with what Sarah now recognized as profound emotion. Sarah Chen, Zixla's thoughts resonated in her mind. You have done more than prove humanity's worth. You have opened a door that has been closed for eons. The cosmic accord welcomes Earth into its embrace. Sarah looked down at her transformed body, marveling at the way her new limbs moved in perfect harmony with her thoughts. She could feel the neural network humming around her, connecting her not just to the luminarians, but to countless other species across the galaxy. What happens now? Sarah asked, her voice carrying new harmonics that sent shivers of delight through the assembled aliens. Zixala's skin rippled with colors that conveyed both excitement and solemnity. Now, Sarah Chen, you become the bridge. Through you, humanity will take its first steps into a larger universe. The path will not be easy. There are those among the cosmic accord who still fear the potential for violence that your species carries, but you have shown them the best of what humans can be. Sarah nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. But along with it came a sense of boundless possibility. She had come to this world as an explorer, hoping to learn about a single alien species. Instead, she had become the key to unlocking humanity's true potential among the stars. As the luminarians gathered around her, eager to share in this historic moment, Sarah gazed up at the alien sky. Somewhere out there, Earth was waiting, unaware of the cosmic door that had just been opened. Sarah smiled, her new form shimmering with anticipation. Well, she thought, her inner voice carrying the same determination that had brought her to this moment, I guess it's time to phone home. Humanity has a symphony to join. The harmonic nexus pulsed once more, as if in agreement. The next movement in the grand cosmic orchestra was about to begin, and humanity, through Sarah Chen, would play a starring role. The Quantum Quandary. Commander Sarah Chen, now a hybrid of human and luminarian physiology, stood before the shimmering portal of the harmonic nexus. Her iridescent skin pulsed with anticipation, four arms poised gracefully at her sides. The time had come to make first contact with Earth, to bridge the gap between her home world and the vast cosmic community she had discovered. "Are you prepared, Sarah Chen?" Zixla's thoughts resonated in her mind, a mixture of excitement and concern coloring the alien leader's mental voice. Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the oxygen mix with the strange new compounds her transformed lungs now processed. "As ready as I'll ever be," she replied, her voice carrying harmonics that would have been impossible for her old human vocal cords. With a gesture from Zixla, the harmonic nexus hummed to life. The multidimensional construct began to spin faster and faster until it became a blur of light and energy. Sarah stepped forward, a mind reaching out through the neural interface to guide the nexus towards Earth. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the crystal city. The nexus sputtered and flashed, its usual smooth operation disrupted by some unseen force. Sarah stumbled back, her extra arms flailing as she tried to maintain balance. "What's happening?" she called out, reverting to verbal speech in her surprise. Zixla's skin flashed with patterns of distress. "Unknown interference. The quantum fields are destabilizing." Sarah's scientifically augmented mind raced to understand the problem. She could see the quantum fluctuations now, visualize the collapsing wave functions that threatened to tear apart the delicate connection between worlds. "It's Earth," she realized with a start. Something on Earth is interfering with the quantum harmonics. As if in response to her words, the nexus projection shifted, showing a view of Earth. Sarah gasped as she saw what was causing the disruption. Massive machines, clearly of human design, but far more advanced than anything that existed when she left, was scattered across the planet's surface. They pulsed with energy, sending out waves that distorted the very fabric of spacetime. "Oh no," Sarah whispered, her voice carrying notes of horror that made the assembled luminarians shudder. "They've discovered quantum field manipulation, but they don't understand what they're doing." Zixla moved to her side, its many arms working in concert to stabilize the nexus. "Explain, Sarah Chen, what has your species done?" Sarah's mind worked furiously, piecing together the implications of what she was seeing. They must have been trying to develop their own faster-than-light communication. But without understanding the cosmic harmonic principles, they've created a discordant signal. It's not just blocking our connection, it's threatening to rip open the quantum fabric of the universe. The luminarians around them trilled in alarm, their bioluminescent patterns flashing in chaotic bursts of color. Sarah could feel their fear, their confusion, pulsing through the neural network that connected them all. "We have to stop it," Sarah declared, her voice carrying the weight of two worlds. "If those machines keep running, they could cause a cascade failure that would destroy not just Earth, but countless other worlds connected to the cosmic accord." Zixla's eyes, deep pools of swirling galaxies, fixed on Sarah. "What do you propose, bridge builder?" Sarah squared her shoulders, all four of them, and stepped back towards the nexus. "We need to send a message, something that will cut through the quantum interference and reach the right people, and I know just the thing." With newfound determination, Sarah reached out to the nexus, her transformed mind interfacing directly with its alien technology. She began to sing, but this was no ordinary melody. It was a complex mathematical equation, expressed through music, that described the precise frequency needed to harmonize Earth's machines with the cosmic symphony. The nexus pulsed and throbbed, struggling against the discordant waves emanating from Earth. Sarah poured everything she had into the song, her scientific knowledge, her human determination, and the new cosmic awareness gifted to her by the luminarians. As her voice rose, carrying impossible harmonics and subharmonics, the other Luminarians joined in. Their combined consciousness flowed through Sarah, amplifying her message, focusing it into a laser-like beam of pure information. On the projection of Earth, Sarah could see the effect of their efforts. The waves of interference began to shift, aligning themselves with the cosmic background radiation that permeated the universe. One by one, the human quantum machines adjusted their output, their discordant notes transforming into a melody that complemented the grand cosmic orchestra. Just as it seemed they might succeed, a new alarm sounded. Sarah's eyes widened as she saw a massive energy buildup at one of the Earth facilities. No, they're trying to boost the signal. In that moment, Sarah knew what she had to do. Without hesitation, she threw herself into the heart of the nexus, her hybrid body dissolving into pure energy. She became the message itself, riding the quantum waves directly towards Earth. As she hurtled through the cosmos, Sarah felt herself stretched across time and space. She saw the birth of stars, the death of galaxies, the intricate dance of subatomic particles that underlay all of creation. And through it all, she held onto the core of who she was, Sarah Chen, explorer, scientist, bridge between worlds. With a flash of blinding light, Sarah rematerialized in the control center of Earth's primary quantum communication facility. Alarms blared as sensors struggled to comprehend her alien form. Wide-eyed technicians backed away, their hands hovering over emergency shutdown switches. "Wait," Sarah called out, her voice resonating with unearthly harmonics. "I'm Commander Sarah Chen of the Earth Exploration Corps, and I'm here to save you from making a terrible mistake." For a moment, silence reigned. Then, a grizzled man in a lab coat stepped forward, his eyes narrowing as he took in Sarah's transformed appearance. "Chen, but you've been missing for years. What happened to you?" Sarah smiled, her iridescent skin shimmering under the harsh laboratory lights. "That, Professor Hawkins, is a very long story. But right now, we need to adjust these machines before they tear apart the fabric of space-time." As Sarah began to explain the intricacies of cosmic harmonics and quantum field manipulation, she felt a sense of hope blossoming within her. This was why she had become an explorer, to push the boundaries of human knowledge, to forge connections across the stars. The fate of Earth, and perhaps the entire universe, hung in the balance. But Sarah Chen, hybrid of two worlds and conduit to a vast cosmic community, was ready to face the challenge. The next chapter in humanity's journey to the stars was about to begin, and Sarah would make sure it started on the right note. The Galactic Gambit. The control room of Earth's quantum harmonic facility buzzed with a mixture of fear, awe, and frantic activity. Commander Sarah Chen, her hybrid form shimmering with otherworldly energy, stood at the center of it all, her four arms dancing over holographic displays as she worked to realign the planet's quantum field generators. "Incredible," Professor Hawkins muttered, his weathered face a mask of concentration as he struggled to keep up with Sarah's explanations. "You're saying that our attempts at FTL communication accidentally tapped into some sort of cosmic internet?" Sarah's laugh carried harmonics that made the air itself vibrate. "The cosmic accord is so much more than that, Professor. It's a living network of consciousness that spans galaxies, and humanity just stumbled into it like a bull in a china shop." Alarms blared as another surge of energy threatened to destabilize the delicate balance Sarah was trying to achieve. She gritted her teeth, her transformed mind interfacing directly with the quantum machinery in ways that left the human technicians gaping in amazement. "We're running out of time," Sarah announced, her voice carrying an urgency that cut through the chaos of the control room. "The discordant signals we've been pumping into the quantum fabric have drawn attention, and not the good kind." As if on cue, the main view screen flickered to life, showing a scene that made everyone's blood run cold. A massive fleet of ships, each one larger than Earth's biggest cities, was emerging from what appeared to be tears in the very fabric of space. "The harvesters," Sarah breathed, recognizing the ominous vessels from warnings shared through the cosmic accord. "They feed on the energy of developing civilizations. Our quantum experiments must have been like ringing the dinner bell. Professor Hawkins stumbled back, his face pale. Dear God, we've doomed ourselves. But Sarah's eyes flashed with determination, all four of them focusing on the challenge ahead. No, we haven't. Not yet. Her hands flew over the controls, making adjustments faster than the human eye could follow. We can't fight them conventionally, but we might be able to outsmart them. How? One of the younger technicians asked, her voice quavering. Sarah's skin rippled with patterns that would have conveyed a confident smirk to a luminarian. We're going to hack the universe. What followed was a display of scientific prowess that would have been impossible for any pure human to achieve. Sarah, with her hybrid physiology and direct neural link to both Earth's quantum network and the cosmic accord, began to rewrite the fundamental laws of physics in their local space. The harvesters navigate by sensing quantum fluctuations, Sarah explained as she worked. If we can create a false harmonic resonance, we might be able to trick them into thinking Earth is nothing more than a dead rock. The assembled scientists watched in awe as Sarah's manipulations began to take effect. The quantum field around Earth shimmered and shifted, creating a camouflage of cosmic proportions. On the view screen, the harvester fleet seemed to hesitate, their massive ships drifting aimlessly as if suddenly unsure of their purpose. It's working, Professor Hawkins exclaimed, his earlier despair replaced by wild hope. But Sarah's expression remained tense. Not quite. We've confused them, but they're still too close. We need something more, something to drive them away for good. That's when inspiration struck. Sarah's eyes widened as she remembered a piece of human culture that had always fascinated her. Quick, does anyone have a sound file of Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up? The request was so unexpected, so utterly bizarre in the face of impending doom, that for a moment everyone just stared at her. Then, the young technician who had spoken earlier let out a nervous giggle. Wait, are you saying we should rickroll the alien invaders? Sarah's skin flashed with patterns of amused affirmation. Exactly, but not just with sound. We're going to encode the entire song, music video and all, into the quantum fabric itself. It was crazy. It was absurd. It was possibly the most human solution to an alien invasion ever conceived. And somehow, it worked. As the first notes of Rick Astley's infamous song began to pulse through the quantum field, encoded in fluctuations of cosmic background radiation, the harvester fleet reacted. Their ships writhed as if in pain, twisting in ways that should have torn them apart. They perceive quantum fluctuations as a form of sustenance, Sarah explained, her voice filled with a mixture of awe and amusement. We just served them the quantum equivalent of the world's spiciest curry, paired with a visual assault they have no context for. The Earthbound humans watched in disbelief as the mighty harvester armada turned tail and fled, their retreat opening tears in space-time as they desperately sought to escape the mind-bending quantum rickroll. As the immediate danger passed, a cheer went up in the control room. Technicians hugged each other, scientists wept with joy, and Professor Hawkins looked like he might faint from the sheer improbability of what had just occurred. But Sarah knew their work was far from over. This is just the beginning, she announced, her voice cutting through the celebrations. Earth is now on the radar of the cosmic accord. We have a lot to learn, and even more to prove. She turned to Professor Hawkins, her hybrid features softening into a smile that was somehow both alien and deeply human. Professor, how would you like to help me establish Earth's first intergalactic relations department? Hawkins, still dazed from the events of the past hour, could only nod mutely. Sarah's gaze swept over the assembled humans, her four eyes twinkling with the light of distant galaxies. My fellow Earthlings, she said, her voice resonating with harmonics that stirred something deep in the souls of all who heard it. Welcome to the grandest adventure humanity has ever known. The stars are calling, and it's time for us to answer. As if in response to her words, the quantum field hummed with new energy. Across the globe, people looked up at the sky, feeling a sense of wonder and possibility they couldn't quite explain. In that moment, Earth took its first real step into a larger universe, guided by a woman who bridged two worlds and carried the best of both within her. The cosmic symphony had gained a new voice, and humanity's verse was just beginning. With Sarah Chen as their guide, the people of Earth prepared to face the challenges and wonders that awaited them among the stars. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear: it would be anything but boring.